All right, now we are going to do two different things. We're going to practice getting the equation from the line. So up until this point, you haven't been able to, if you're given a line, figure out what the equation is. Okay, but now we can do that because, well, for linear lines, we can do it because we know what the general equation for a linear line is. What is, I shouldn't say general, it's not general. The specific equation of a linear line is y is equal to mx plus b. Okay, so if my equation is y is equal to mx plus b, m represents the slope, b represents the y-intercept. Okay, so let's just start with the first one here. They tell us we have an equation of a line passing through the point 0, 2, and it has a slope of 5 over 2. So as soon as you see the word slope, you know that that is your m value. They tell us it passes through the point 0, 2. What is the value of x at the y-intercept? 0. So this is actually the y-intercept. That's a vertical line. Okay, so my y-intercept is 0, 2, or b is equal to 2. Does that make sense? Because if I graphed it, it would be right there. Okay. So what's the equation of a line that goes through these points and has the slope? There you go. That's it. You just sub it in for m and b once you have those pieces of information. Now we're going to do the exact same thing except using a graph. It's the exact same thing. You have to find the slope and the y-intercept. The y-intercept is easy. You just look at the graph. So L2, we'll do L2 first. L2. What's the y-intercept? Where does it pass through the y-axis? 0, 2. You need to say 2. Okay. My b value is 2. That's where it crosses. Now I have to figure out the slope. If you have a graph, how do you figure out slope? We did it We did it 2 days ago. What do? You rise over run, so you make a triangle, right? You have to use points that go right through the corner of a circle, or of a square, sorry, no, circle. So that one. We do a little rise over run triangle. Does it matter which end you start at? So m is equal to rise over run. I'm going to start up here. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. And I went down, so it's negative. And then I'm going left 1, 2. So my slope is negative 3 over 2. So the equation of a line is mx plus b. So what's the equation of this line? There you go. That's it. That's all you do. Find your y-intercept, find your slope, plug it into the formula. So L1, doing them in reverse order here. Y-intercept of L1. What is it? Where does it cross the y-axis? -4, right? It's down 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, then we got to find our slope. Draw your triangle, pick a point. Pick that point. We go 1, 2, 3 to the left. Down 1. So it's 1 over 3. Does it make sense that it's positive? This is actually a good test. It's rising left to right, so it does make sense. Okay? On the bottom here? Or where? You talking, you talking about like this bit? Yeah? Yeah, because if you go, which end are you starting at? This one? This one? Where the dot is getting bigger. That one. So over 3, 1, 2, 3, which is positive, and then up 1, which is positive, 1/3. All right, so what's the equation of this line? 1/3 x minus 4. That's it. That's all you have to do. Figure out the y-intercept, figure out the slope. Are we good? Number deuce, please. Number 2. It's only 3 equations or 3 lines. Okay. So now we're going to get into the part that everybody hates. All right. So that was a bad setup by me. Okay. We don't have a visual. All right. We just have equations and words. This is page 399, right where we left off. Okay. However, you need to just go step by step. Okay. Now, this is going to start to be a recurring theme here. All right. We're going to be given information, no graphs, just equations and bits of information, and we have to generate the new equation. Okay. So, this is why you need to remember it builds upon what we learned yesterday and the day before, etc. So, we have a line. First of all, we want to get the equation of a line. So, we know we want to write this. That's what we're trying to fill in. We're trying to figure out what M and B are. Okay. So they tell us a line that is parallel to this line. What does parallel mean? Same slope, right? As soon as you see the word parallel, you know that that means it is the same slope. Okay, well, what's the slope of this line? 1/3. So that means our line has slope 1/3. We know M. Done. We got one piece of information. Okay. Go to the second bit here. The same y-intercept as this line. The y-intercept of that line is -7, therefore our b value is -7. So now we have m, we got b, we can figure out the equation of the line, right? So it becomes y is equal to 1/3 x minus 7. That's it. Okay. It's every question we do from now on is a version of that, essentially. All you're trying to do is figure out m and b. Okay? They will word it different ways. And we'll give you different pieces of information, but all you're trying to do is figure out M and B for every question. Okay? So let's look at the second one here. It is because you don't have any equations, right? It just adds another extra step. So we have a line that passes through the point 0,9. So this is where you have to understand what an x and y intercept are. 0,9. What's my x value there? So this is the y-intercept. Okay? Because x is 0, therefore, that means the y-intercept, which is your b value, equals 9. Okay? They're going to give you all the information. It's just a matter of you mining it out from the question. Okay? So we got one piece of information. We got b. Now we got to figure out m. All right? But it's perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean? That's exactly. They're not the same. They meet at a 90-degree angle, which means the slopes are flipped and put a negative in front of it, right? So the key here is when you see the word perpendicular or parallel, it's talking about, what are you flipping? The slope. It's talking about the slope. If you see perpendicular or parallel, it's like a big red light or somebody punching you in the face saying, find the slope. That's what it's saying. Okay? Now, find slope. Can I find the slope if I know 2 points that it goes through? What equation do I use? Look at the back of your book. What equation do you use? Yes. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Because that's the equation you use when you have 2 points. Yeah, this would be set 1. That's set 2. It doesn't matter, but if you want to label them that way. So then we go, okay, y2 is 0 minus y1, which is negative 6, over x2, which is negative 5, minus 2. What's 0 minus negative 6? 6. Negative 5 minus 2. Negative 7. So that is my slope for what goes between those two lines. But what other word did they put in there that is super, super important? It's perpendicular to that. Therefore, my perpendicular slope is what? Positive 7 over 6, because you flip it and put a negative. And the negatives cancel, and you get 7 over 6. So now I have my slope, and I have the y-intercept. Can I write the equation? Those are the only two pieces of information I need. My slope is 7 over 6 plus 9. This is tricky. We just have to keep practicing it, and we will get it. All right, we're going to do one more example, and then I'm going to give you some time. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? You ever ready? No. This is the last lesson of the day, but I still got one little thing at the end to do, but I don't want to do it yet. Okay, here we go. Here's our graph. It's just an old school graphing calculator graph that they have not updated this picture in about 20 years. So I will tell you that that has the coordinates of 2, and this has the coordinates of 4. 2 and 4. All right. I want the equation of this line. All right. All right, what 2 pieces of information do I need? Yeah, I need M and B, slope and y-intercept. Do I know one of those right now without doing anything? You know 2 is the y-intercept. Okay, it's right there. Now B is 2. Done. We got that bit. Now we have to figure out the slope. When you're doing slope from a graph, what shape do you make? You make a triangle. We'll connect these two. Slope is rise. You could do it the other way, but I'm doing it this way because you can see the markings, right? That's why I did it that way. But yes, you could do it the other way. Yep. Get the same answer. What is my rise? Sure. Which way are you starting? You're starting at the 2 or the 4? It doesn't matter. I just need to know. The 4? Okay, if we start at the 4, we go left 4 units, which means that our run is negative. And then we go up 2, which means our rise is 2. But if you start at 2, that would be the opposite, but that doesn't matter. What's 2 over negative 4? Yeah, negative 1/2, right? All right, so we got M, we got B. What's the equation? Now, it will be written sometimes. That's perfectly right. You'd get 100% if you did that on a test. Sometimes they will write it because they don't like leading negatives. So flip it and write this. That's the same thing, okay? They just don't want a leading negative. They like to have a leading positive number. I don't care how you write it. It's the same exact thing. Okay? Are we okay with that, peoples? You can be. This is right. That is correct. No, I just flipped the order. Okay, number 1. Number 4. And what's the other one? 145. Number 1 has a bazillion things. Don't do all bazillion right now. Just do a few of them, and then do 4 and 5. Finish the bazillion when you get home. Page 400. All right. L1, L2. So we have horizontal lines, vertical lines now. We're going to figure out the equations of these. So L1, this flat line right here. What is my slope? 0. Remember, horizontal lines have slopes of 0. What is my y-intercept? Whoops. 4. It's right there. So the equation of this line is 0 times x plus 4. What's 0 times anything? 0. So you don't even have to write it. So what's the equation of a line? Y equals 4. If you see y equals and just a number, it's horizontal because the slope is 0. Okay? So now if I said, based on that, if I said, what is the equation of L2? You would say y is equal to -6. You don't even have to do anything. You know it's horizontal, so you know the x's and the slopes go away because it's 0. So you just go, what's the y-intercept? It's -6 here. So it's y is equal to -6. That's it. Okay? So horizontal lines are always y equals constant. If I said sketch, do this in a different color, green. If I said, I'll do it right here. Sketch y is equal to 1. What's the slope of that line? 0. What's its y-intercept? So you just go to y-intercept of 1 and draw a flat line. And that's it. That's y is equal to 1. Okay, nice and easy. Okay? Now let's do horizontal or verticals. That is true. It's in red. Okay, so L3, this vertical line right here. We know that the slope of an undefined line is, or sorry, the slope of a vertical line is undefined. So we can't write it in the form y is equal to mx plus b because we can't put anything in for m. All right, it doesn't make any sense. So what we do, if we look at it, and also, sorry, the y-intercept, what's the y-intercept of L3? Is there one? No, there is none. There's no y-intercept. So no y-intercept. So you can't use this. My gosh, what's going on here? You cannot use that equation because there's no slope. Well, the slope is undefined. And the y-intercept, there is no y-intercept. So that equation gets thrown out the door. Okay, this is the only line, vertical lines are the only time you don't use that equation. So what we do is we look at it and we go, okay, what are the x values on that line? X values. Sorry? No. X values. -3, right? -3. Every X value is -3. Every X value is -3. Every single one, right? The Y values change because it's going up and down, but the X values are always -3. So to represent that line, we just go X equals -3. So when you see X equals a constant, it's a vertical line, okay? Which is what they say at the bottom here. The vertical. So every X value is -3, right? Because I'm over -3 and then 0. This one is -3, 1, -3, 2, -3, 3. It's always X equals -3. The Y value will change, but okay, so we just write X equals -3, and that represents a vertical line. So at the bottom of the page, this is these two right here. Y is equal to K is a horizontal line. K is the constant, okay? Any number. So e.g., Y is equal to 2. That's a horizontal line at 2. Whereas this, X is equal to a number, represents a vertical line. So if I say X is equal to 3, it's a vertical line at X is equal to 3. Okay? All right. There's a couple almost tricky, but whatever questions that you have to be able to do. So, last bit here for the day. We have a line that goes through the point -2 and 8. Okay? So, -2 and 8. I'm just showing it on the graph. You don't have to do this. And they say it is parallel to the y-axis. So, what does parallel mean? Yeah, side by side, same slope, whatever you want to call it. Where's the y-axis here? The vertical or the horizontal? It's vertical, right? There's the y, there's the x. So if it goes through that point and it's parallel to the y-axis, what type of line is it? It's a vertical line. So what's the equation of that line? Keep going. There you go. X equals -2 because it's a vertical line. Now, if they use the same point, but they say it's parallel to the x-axis, the x-axis is the horizontal. One sec, Tyler. So it's like this. So what is the equation of that line? Y is equal to 8. That's it. Okay? Verticals are x equals a number. Horizontals are y is equal to a number. And just be careful with parallel and perpendicular. Which axis I will. That's a good test question, so be aware of those. I would like you to do 8, 9, 10, and 12.